Okay, so here I am cutting the body blanks and jointing them. Now I'm resawing them to get the correct width that I want for the middle of the guitar. And planing them to the correct thickness. Now I'm prepping all the woods that I'm going to use to build the Chaos caps for the top and the back. After cutting it all down to size, I'm ripping it into 1/2-inch blanks. Then I'm ripping it into thinner blanks. And then even thinner. Then once I've got them all cut, I'm going to arrange them into an interesting pattern. And then glue it all up. Then I'm going to plane everything down to size. Then I'll rip it all down 3 times, glue it all together again, and then I'm going to put it and do a cross cut to get the grain exposed, and that will give me my Chaos pattern. And I'll take those strips, tape them all up so that I can bend them and glue them together, and I'll do that 4 times for the top and back, and then glue them onto the inner body blanks for both sides. There's what a blank looks like. Then I'll glue the 2 body blanks together to make the entire body and cut it out on the bandsaw. Now I'm preparing the wood for the neck. And once the neck blank is prepared, I'm going to rip it in half so that I can take a Chaos pattern strip and glue it in the middle to give the neck something interesting. Now I'm trimming off all the pieces and routing the truss rod channel. Now I am making all my markings to get the design for my neck complete. And I did lose the footage of me putting the fret slots in there, but I'm preparing the fretboard for slotting and then gluing it to the neck. Now it's time to cut out the shape of the neck. And here I just decided to do a little something interesting to the bottom of the fretboard. Now I'm preparing some veneer so that I can glue it on to the headstock. Now I'm making my markings, drilling my holes for my fret dot inlays, and putting a radius on the fretboard. Now I'm cutting off these hollow brass rods that I'll hammer into the fretboard and then file them flush with the fretboard. Then I'm going to take some toothpicks, cut them off, and then dye them black to give the centers something interesting on those fret dot inlays. And then I'll take my Shinto rasp saw and profile the back of the neck. Now I'm just sanding it all down. Now I'm bending the fret wire, and I'll go and hammer the fret wires into place. Now I'm shaping the nut. And this is the piece of steel that I'm going to use for the logo. Now I did lose the footage for the electro etching, but I'll cut out my logo on the vinyl cutter, put it on the piece of metal. I dip that Q-tip in salt water, attach an electrode to it, also to a 9-volt battery, then attach the other alligator clip to the piece of metal, and whenever you lay the vinyl on there and put the Q-tip on the part where the exposed metal is, it will etch the metal away so that you can make the logo. Now I'm going to route out the neck pocket. Now it's time to route out the pickup cavities, which I will have to fix later, and you'll see that. Now I'm putting this piece of paper on so that I can draw my center line, I can draw out my bridge placement, and I can draw my carves for the body. And then this is a saber-tooth burr, medium grit, to give the guitar something a little bit more interesting. Now I'm drawing out the holes for the control cavity and routing it all flush. Now I'm going to fix the heel of the neck. Combination of tools there to get it done: sander, burr cutter. Now here I had to go in and fix the pickup cavity because I got a little overzealous and routed the pickup cavity too early, so I had to get a block of Paducah Chaos cap, route out a square on the guitar body, and then glue it all back into place to fill it in. But it did come out quite nicely. You can't even tell. Now this is the control cover, the control cavity cover, and I cut out the inside so that I could put a Chaos blank on the inside, give it a nice little border, something interesting. Now this is the certificate of authenticity. It's poplar, maple, and plexiglass, and I sanded this plexiglass down till it was clear, and then I put down a vinyl piece and etched my logo in. The poplar will get covered in red duck canvas, and then it's all screwed together. Now, one thing I love about guitar building is it always inspires me to do more, build more interesting things. So I got inspired to build my first guitar case. So I'm going to build a custom case for this guitar to the exact size of the guitar. Now I got to rip the box open, and I'm making another plexiglass logo, so I'm just polishing it clear here, and then I will etch my logo into this and eventually screw it onto the front of the guitar case. Now I'm going to use some spray adhesive and attach the red duck canvas to the top and bottom of the guitar box. And this is made out of 1/2-inch plywood. Then here's some foam that I will cut out the exact shape of the guitar to with a hot knife. And fit it all into the box, and you can see the wood piece there I made to support the neck. Now I'm wrapping the interior in gold and crushed velvet. Now I'm putting on the markings for mounting the hardware and installing the hinges, putting it all together. Now I'm doing the finish sanding for the guitar body with the sheet sander and putting some finish sanding on the fretboard. Now I'm going to do some finish sanding on the nut. And it's time for the finish. I chose hard wax oil and I did 3 coats of this, and that gave me enough buildup to where I could put a little bit of a sand on it and get a nice flat satin look out of it. Put some lemon oil on the fretboard and put on the shielding paint and the control cavities. And then I'm going to polish up the frets. Now I'm using Renaissance microcrystalline wax to do the final buffing on the guitar so that it'll have that nice satin sheen to it. Now, I also decided to take the wood that I made the guitar with and turn a pin out of it so that I can sign the certificate of authenticity with the pin that was made out of the guitar wood. So here I'm just turning it down, sanding it. I put a finish of super glue on the pins and it gives it a really nice shine after you've polished it out with some sandpaper. Now I'm mounting all the hardware. And I put the strap buttons on the back so that there was nothing sticking out from the tops and bottoms of the guitar. I just wanted the guitar to look like the guitar and nothing else on the front. So it was something interesting that I wanted to try. Only time will tell if I really like the strap buttons back there or not. For now, they do work just fine. And here I am putting all of the wiring together. Now it's time to string up the guitar and set it up, but before I do that, I got to file the nut slots. And there's the certificate of authenticity with the pin. And there's the final guitar case with the guitar inside it. And there is the final product.